All right, guys, so I got this from iboats.com. They're called patch paste kits. It comes with a gel coat with your factory color. In this case, it is a 2013 Yamaha 212ss. So it's just, believe it or not, called gray. So it's a fairly boring color name, but you can see from the previous owners that there's some dings here from probably docks, I'm assuming. This is one that is compliments of one of my good friends who I let borrow the boat, and I'll never let them borrow again. He lost a buoy and left it tied up at night. So we're gonna repair those. We're gonna start with the biggest one though, which is right here on the bow that came from a previous owner, and that is definitely got to be a dock kit, so, or a dock crash. So they say to mix up an ounce of this with 10 drops of this solution that they give you with the kit. So you mix up 10 drops with 1 ounce of the gel coat, mix it together. We're going to putty it in, then we'll wet sand it down and buff it out. So they say to take out half the jar of paste, guys. Make sure you're wearing rubber gloves, obviously, because this stuff, if you get it and you smell it, it is potent. Okay. Oh shit, get up here too.
I mean, that's why you color match things. I just think that's pretty self-explanatory.
Alright guys, today we're going to do a little wet sanding on our gel patch repair. You'll see we're going to go from 240 to 320 to 400 to 600. You're going to slowly get these kind of, you'll start with the 240 and you'll see scratches kind of around the area you're repairing, but as you work your way up you should minimize some of those scratches. You can kind of see that repair there. So we'll just kind of keep working our way up. I just filled up an old bottle of my wife's glass cleaner, and what this is just water and actually a little bit of soaps. So real quick also, you can get a sanding block. The purpose of this is sometimes if you use your fingers, you're putting pressure in just two places. So A, it's bad for the sandpaper, but B, it's bad for the even surface of the boat. Because I'm only doing small areas, I'm just going to use an old drywall sanding block. Just kind of hold it around here like this, and I'll sand it that way. If you are doing bigger areas, they actually have sanding blocks where these sheets come in sheet size papers. You cut them into quarters and they'll have little teeth that bend the sandpaper around and lock in. So if you're doing bigger areas, you might want to explore one of those. They're not that expensive. So. The soap acts as a little bit of a lubricant too, guys, and the water just keeps your sandpaper clean, so you're getting that nice even. You can already see that it knocked down that repair pretty nicely. I can barely see it here, it's right here. But the finer grit you work with, the better it's gonna get. So we'll just keep working our way up. I have several other spots, I'll spare you the time of watching, but I'm gonna do the same process for all of those, and then we'll come through and just give it a nice buffing. Guys, this is just a bucket of water here, nothing special. Just that, again, that wet sanding that wet sanding will keep kind of the gunk out of the sandpaper and keep the surface somewhat cleaner than normal. I'm just working my way up from the 240 to the 600. Last but not least, guys, the 600. You'll notice, like, I'm getting some gray. Obviously the boat's gray, so you'll notice you're getting some of that color off onto the sandpaper. That's okay. It's just coming off of your gel coat. All right, we're on the final step. Again, a couple of Amazon purchases for you. Pneumatic polishing gun, tiny little cheap one. But I don't do a ton of this. This is just kind of a one-time thing, hopefully, or once every couple of years. So again, this was about 30 bucks. It did come with the hookup, the nipple for the compressor. I accidentally didn't know that, so I actually had to buy some. So if you buy this exact one, you'll know it's pretty distinguishable by this polish pad on Amazon. You don't need an extra nipple, but I needed some anyway. So, and then lastly, this is medium coat compound. You'll see on the back they kind of have a schedule of depending on your cuts or scratches in the boat and where you are in the stage of your polishing, but this is kind of middle of the road. It's the medium one. This is about 30 bucks, and it also looks broken, which is awesome. Yeah, it's definitely broken. All right, well, we're just gonna make do with that. So this is the final step here, guys. I'm just gonna show you on one spot, just so you get the point, and then we'll see how it turns out. Don't go too fast with your air gun, guys. There is a speed on the back of this, so I'm gonna play with this a little bit and see what we need. Yeah, it's nice and slow already, so it's called burning it. You don't want the polish to burn. because this thing eats up a decent amount of air. So make sure you have something big. One of those small little $100 ones ain't gonna cut it. All right, you guys, you can see the scratches are kind of filled in here. I'm trying to get a good angle on it, but there you go. You can kind of see that where the scratches were here. All right, guys, final step, Polyglot. They have a prep formula that comes with this too. I didn't need it, obviously, because I've already sanded and cleaned the boat, so it was already kind of prepped. In the areas where I spot sanded, the gel coat was a little hazy, so just a heads up, this is pretty difficult to do. So if you can, just kind of tape off your spot and just do that little spot. That way, if it doesn't match perfectly, it won't be as hard to see. Now that being said, we had a bunch of scrapes on this boat from the previous owner years ago, and I just kept putting off finishing them. So it was very hazy towards the end. I applied about 4 to 6 coats. I actually did 7 coats of this, and it came out really nice. You can see the gel coat. It's still drying a little bit here, but you know, you can see the overall repair job came out pretty nice. So if you guys are nervous on doing this, you might want to seek out a professional. It is going to be super expensive, but like I said, it's pretty difficult, especially a colored gel coat like this, to match it perfectly. So this stuff was kind of a lifesaver on that finishing touch to make it all look shiny again. Good luck, guys.